the 2014 representative from Portugal, Susie. And last but not least, our Eurovision winner, the fabulous Elizabeth Andreasen. So, Luke, Susie and Elizabeth, welcome to Liverpool.
Thank you.
It's so great to see you, so great to have you at our annual fan club to get together, the fabulous Eurobash. So I've got a few questions for each of you. Luke, I'm going to start with you. So, I can't believe it's been just over a year since Liverpool's Eurovision hosting in 2023. How does it feel being back here?
Well, I went, when I came here, I went first to do a gourmet tour around all of the restaurants that I used to eat at for the 14 days I was here, because that's the thing I remember the most. And then, yeah, it feels amazing. I love Liverpool, you know, I love people here. They're like, you guys are so amazing. It's I live in London, and the warmth here is at a higher level, and I like the heat.
It's really good to have you here, and obviously we got to know you last year with Samus Spava, but I think it's fair to say the Luke Black story started a number of years ago. You've been writing since you were a teenager. In 2014, I think you became the first solo Serbian artist to be signed by Universal. So for those who don't know the Luke Black story, just tell us a bit about some of your musical background before we get to the Eurovision era.
So I grew up in a small hometown in Čačak in Serbia, and bear in mind, like, I was quite different than the most of the people there, like in school and stuff, so I kind of had to stay at home most of the time. So for the first like 19 or 20 years of my life, I was in my room playing video games and consequently then producing music with the creation of the internet. And that is how I got into music, and I always wanted to play the piano and be a pianist and like a theater musician, but we couldn't really afford a piano, so I used an accordion that my dad had, and that's my start with music. My friend and I would sit on the floor, I would use it as a piano, and she would like pull the accordion back and forth for me to be able to have a piano, and that's how I started learning to play the piano, and then I started making music. It was always in English. I was left alone as a kid a lot to watch Disney films and play Lara Croft, so that's how I learned English first. And then had to go to a speech therapist to learn Serbian back, and you know that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. And then the rest is like just making music and then having like the crazy opportunities like Universal Music or going to randomly promote my song on Serbian TV and then winning national final and then, you know, coming to Eurovision.
And were there any particular acts that you were influenced by as you were growing up, as you were starting your kind of musical journey?
Well, you know, I'm a really big metalhead. I never really liked pop music. I liked kind of jazz. Obviously, I love the Beatles. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. No, truly, like, you know, like, there's loads of evergreen music that I was kind of spoon-fed by my family, and like loads of funk music as well, and usually UK acts and some US acts, and loved Edith Piaf from France. My grandma got me into that, and Fado from Portugal. Like, I always loved that type of music, and then I got into pop because once Lady Gaga appeared, I discovered, yeah, I discovered that pop music can actually be a canvas for connecting art and music together. So I guess as an artist, I grew more into being an artist rather than a singer. And just a songwriter, it's always like everything combined. Otherwise, if you just take one thing out of it, it's not that good.
And was Eurovision, the Eurovision Song Contest, ever something that was kind of on your, on your radar, something that you had an ambition to do?
Well, look, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I really love the Eurovision audience. Never really a big fan of like watching Eurovision. It's an amazing show. I think the Liverpool show was one of the best produced ones. I'm sorry to Sweden and everything this year, but I think like, the stage there and like the camera quality and like the screens and the organization and the Eurovillage that was happening, it was so beautiful. I don't know why this year like that didn't happen. It was kind of, they were, I don't know what happened, but like, anyway, I really loved my experience there, as in like with the production value of Eurovision. But the best thing about it is the fans. I think that's what the core of the competition is, the love for music and unity between all countries. So yeah, that's why I like Eurovision.
And how did you end up taking part in the Serbian national final? How did that come about?
Well, I had a song called Sleep Forever, originally in English. They had opened a competition back home where I had to compete, and it had to be in Serbian completely, because they're trying, because Serbia is getting, like, we have loads of like traditional heritage and everything, but because it's quite like pro-European and open to like change, we're kind of changing the Cyrillic letters to Latin letters, and we're kind of trying to keep the language there. So they have this rule, obviously, that it has to be in Serbian. I sent out my song fully in English. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Obviously I'm not gonna go through. But then they really like the concept of the song and everything that it stands for, and then I had to ask my mom to translate it, because I'm really terrible. Like, I really don't know how to write in English, which is why I live in England. I had to leave everything behind, and then I wanted to promote my song Sleep Forever, which was supposed to come out in March that year. I wanted to use all of my savings and put it into a performance that will look like as if I've had like a label behind me and loads of fans and support at that time, which I didn't have, and to show what I would do if I had a platform, and kind of like what's the synthesis between audio and visual. And I really didn't expect people in Serbia to vote for me, because I guess like the majority of the country loves different type of music and the genre. But I won, and when looking back at the videos, you can see I'm in complete shock. But that's the best thing that has happened to me, to be honest. This thing that scared me, like winning, was the best thing that happened, and I'm so glad I got to meet everybody.
I'm really glad we got to meet you.
I think your act was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And Madonna always say that, if something scares you, jump into it. That's right.
Thank you.
So we'll talk more in a moment about your Eurovision experience and what you've been up to since, but I'm going to turn now to someone who's been part of the Eurovision family for a decade now, the fabulous Susie. Welcome to Liverpool. Is this your first time in Liverpool, or have you been performing here?
First time. Yeah.
So great to have you here. I can't believe it's been 10 years since we got to know you with Kadosha Tour in Copenhagen. A fabulous song that still fills the dance floors. I think we'll probably hear it tonight. But again, before we talk about your Eurovision experience, a bit about your kind of musical background. I think you started your career about 25 years ago. And am I right in thinking it was a Christmas song, Nesta Noite Blanca, that was kind of one of yours?
I